So hey guys, and welcome to the next episode of the Random Watch Dude. Now in a previous video I asked a question. This is the video I did about the Exit watch, the Go Anywhere Do Anything watch. I asked a question at the start of that video, which was, do you wear your watch or does your watch wear you? Okay guys, so yeah, this big question is, do you wear your watch or does your watch wear you? Quick wristwatch check. I'm today wearing my Rolex Datejust 36 on, this is the Palm Motif dial, now discontinued Palm Motif dial actually. I've got a 7.2 inch wrist and this sits really nice actually on my 7.2 inch wrist. It's 36mm. A lot of you guys out there seem to think that 36mm is just fit for babies' wrists, but of course not. No, I've got a reasonably medium-sized guy's wrist, and I think the DJ36, I'll just give you a better shot there, I think the DJ36 actually works really well on my size wrist. Now, here's an example, guys, of a watch that I'm wearing. This watch is not wearing me, I'm wearing this watch. And so I just wanted to talk briefly about what I mean by, does your watch wear you or do you wear your watch? And I've come up with a few pointers to help you understand whether your watch is wearing you or whether you're wearing it. And actually later on in the video I'm going to give you some reasons why I think your watch might be wearing you. Now the first thing to help you decide whether your watch is wearing you is, are you constantly aware of the fact that you are wearing this watch? Are you able to actually just completely forget that you've got this watch on your wrist and just go about your life and completely actually forget that you've got a watch on at all? That's question number one. Or are you constantly aware that this watch is on your wrist? Number two, do you find yourself looking at it constantly from different angles? Do you find yourself, even when maybe you're just sat there at work or just sat there at home watching TV, do you find yourself just having a little sneaky look at it whilst it's on your wrist? See, maybe having a little jiggle in the light just to see how the light reflects off of the dial. That's number two, guys. You find yourself constantly looking at it from different angles. Number three, do you find yourself taking wrist shots of your watch constantly? Guys, taking wrist shots with your phone and then uploading them on social media, onto social media groups. Do you find yourself doing that, guys? Taking a picture of your wristwatch and uploading it onto social media? Kind of a lunatic does that. Number four, guys, do you find yourself constantly wondering whether that particular watch that you've got on that day is working well with your shirt or working well with your trousers? Or, you know, do you sort of concern yourself with the fact that you might not have matching underpants on today to go with your watch? There's another reason, guys, why your watch might be wearing you. Number five, guys, is you're worried about scratching it. You're constantly worrying about scratching your watch. You're constantly looking at your watch, wondering if you scratched it. You spend a day in the office at work, you know, hovering your mouse around, working on your Excel spreadsheet, and you keep looking at your clasp just to make sure that there's no little micro scratches on your clasp. That's another sign, guys, that your watch is wearing you. And lastly, number six, guys, is do you think that your watch is just too big and too blingy, and that watch, therefore, it's too big and it's too blingy and it is absolutely 100% wearing you? You are not wearing it. They're the six key things, guys, which I think tell us whether our watch is wearing us or whether we are wearing our watch. So I've come up with 5 reasons why I think you need to do a little bit of self-checking here, guys. And it's really important for us guys to do self-checking from time to time, of course, isn't it? Really, really important. We don't do enough self-checking, us guys. And I've got 5 things that I'd like you to think about self-checking just after you've watched this video. Number one, guys, one self-check. Is it the wrong size? Be honest with yourself, guys. Be honest with yourselves. Is your watch too big? Is it the wrong size? Is it the wrong fit? Does it flap around on your wrist? It's not particularly comfortable, or is it just too big? Have you got a 6.25-inch wrist and you're wearing a 46mm Breitling, and you're trying to pull it off and it's just not working for you? So number one, guys, is that watch needs to feel super comfortable on your wrist, and that's why I'm just taking a Datejust. I'm wearing my Datejust today as an example. 36mm Datejust, perfect size, beautiful dimensions, super comfortable. It doesn't flop around on my wrist, it just sits on my wrist really nicely. I am 100% wearing this watch, guys. It is not wearing me, because it's just so super comfortable and the proportions of the watch are right for my wrist. So number one, guys, are you trying to wear a watch that's too big, or are you also trying to wear a watch that just flaps around and just doesn't fit your wrist well? Number two, and it kind of relates to number one as well, is it's just too blingy. You know, maybe gold isn't for you. You know, this is the thing, guys. I mean, gold's a lovely, precious metal watch, but maybe gold just isn't for you. Maybe you're just not a gold guy, and maybe you're just not a Grand Seiko guy. You know, with that lovely Zaratsu polishing. Maybe that's just not you. Maybe that blinginess and that gorgeous polish on your Grand Seiko, maybe that's just not who you are. Number three, guys. Number three is a difficult one. Don't get offended. Maybe the reason that watch is wearing you is because actually you can't afford it. And this is something that you need to consider as well. Is the watch in the right price bracket for who you are? Are you spending too much money on a watch to try and create an impression of somebody that just is not you? Could you actually afford to buy that watch in the first place? Rule number one. Could you actually afford to buy it without borrowing money and without breaking the bank? And I've always said this, guys, make sure the bills are paid, make sure the family's happy, make sure you're going on nice holidays, make sure you've got fuel in the car, baked beans in the cupboard. Whatever money you've got left at the end, if you want to spend that on watches, fantastic. But number three is, can you afford that watch, guys? Because the likelihood is if you can't answer yes to that question, that watch will be at 100% wearing you. If you are not the kind of guy, or you don't have the resources to fund that watch comfortably and forget about it, that watch will wear you. Number four, you don't feel worthy. Now that's another guy thing that we don't talk about very often, isn't it? Is you don't feel worthy. You don't feel good enough. You might be good enough to wear this watch. You might have the resources to buy it. It might be the perfect watch for you. It might be the perfect colour, the perfect size, perfect weight, the perfect price. But for some reason you don't feel worthy of wearing that watch. And if that's the case, guys, that will reflect in the way you feel about that watch, and that watch will start to wear you rather than you wear the watch. And the thing is, guys, if you can afford it, and if all the dimensions and the fit and the finish are right, you shouldn't feel unworthy of wearing that watch. But I think some people do, and I've been in that situation in the past before, where actually I think it was when I bought my first Rolex, I didn't feel worthy. You know, it was a Submariner. It was a used Submariner. And it was my first Rolex. I was so overjoyed, but then I went through a stage where I didn't feel worthy. I didn't feel like I deserved it, and I think that's when the watch starts to wear you a little bit. And so yeah, get over that side of things, guys. If you've ticked off everything and you are worthy, you need to be able to see that in yourself. Otherwise, that watch will wear you. And finally, guys, number five. Finally. A watch. When is a watch wearing you? A watch is wearing you, and I think this goes for hype watches, most hype watches, and I'm talking about the Panda Daytonas. I'm talking about the GMT Master 2 Pepsis, maybe some of the AP, the Royal Oak, for example, the AP Royal Oak, some of the Pateks. Even come down a level and look at some of the really nice, flashy, blingy Omegas. I think hype watches, guys, are very, very difficult watches to just wear. And what I mean by that is, I think these hype watches, and I'm going to take let's say a Panda Daytona as a great example, because it's one of the pinnacle kind of hype watches, isn't it? I wonder how many people actually just put on a Panda Daytona and just forget about it and just wear it. I've got a feeling that watch is wearing its owner most of the time, because they're in awe of that watch, even though they own it. And this is the thing with hype watches, guys. I think hype watches are very, very difficult watches to actually just relax with, chuck on, forget about, and wear and enjoy. I think hype watches tend to wear their owners. So there you go, guys. There's my five kind of pointers as to whether a watch is wearing you, and things to look out for as well in terms of finding a watch that you can wear. And like I say, you know, your watch is going to be different to mine. You're going to put on a Datejust 36 and it's going to feel different to you. But you know, I really like this watch, guys. These Rolex Datejusts are fantastic watches when you consider Rolex is a hype brand. I think the Datejust is almost a perfect watch to wear because dimensionally, especially the 36, it's almost perfect for most guys, certainly the secure guys that don't need to chuck on a 42mm plus case size to feel happy and manly. You know, I don't think there's anything wrong at all with a 36mm Datejust on any guy's wrist, if I'm being perfectly honest with you. And I'm wearing this watch, it's not wearing me. So there you go, guys. Let me know in the comments what you think of all this. You know, maybe I've got everything completely wrong here and you think I'm talking a load of rubbish, but this is just how I feel. This is my channel. I talk about how I feel about watches and you know, the psychology of watches as well. And it's been kind of on my mind a little bit lately, you know, this whole wearing the watch or the watch wearing you kind of conversation. So here it is. I'm putting it out there. Let me know what you think in the comments, guys, and I look forward to seeing you on the next video. Cheers.